All right, so function evaluation. So we should already know that somewhere in here we're going to have f of x defined as a set, in this case 2x minus 3. That's the equation. Note that this is saying function f at the value of x, so x is my variable. If I look at this problem, basically instead of x, I see a negative 3. What that means is I want to make x and change my actual variable value into negative 3. So x disappears and becomes negative 3. So how do I finish out this problem? Well, my function is 2, and then instead of x, multiply by negative 3, subtract 3, and then I just evaluate. So equals negative 6 minus 3 equals negative 9. So f at negative 3 gives me a value of negative 9. What's important to note is that when I have a number here, okay, so a number input, I should get a number answer. Okay, so no variables, just numbers. Let's look at another one. So first of all, g at x is going to be x squared plus 2x minus 3. What I'm doing here is saying, okay, 3 is just a regular number, so 3 is my number, and I'm multiplying it by my g value. Okay, once again, g is just a name, so I can't do math on that. So in order to actually do this, I need to figure out what is my number. So how do I do that? Well, what is this saying? This is saying that my x is supposed to be turning into 0. So what is this really equal to? Instead of x, 0. So 0 squared, because the first value was x squared, plus 2 times 0, then minus 3. What happens then? I'm going to get 0 plus 0 minus 3. Final answer is negative 3. So what am I really evaluating is 3, and then g at 0 turned into the number negative 3. So my final answer is equal to negative 9. So I input a value of 0, and I get out a value of negative 9. And now it is a number. Let's try a couple more like this. Okay, on this problem, remembering what our values are. So just quickly, f of x is 2x minus 3. G of x is x squared plus 2x minus 3. All right. So one way you can obviously do this is just do 4 and then just put everything in one big string. So 2 times 2 minus 3, putting in 2 for x, minus 2 squared plus 2 times 2 minus 3. That is obviously an option. The problem with this option is it generates errors. For example, it's minus that number, so I really should have parentheses there. And also there's just a lot of numbers going along. So you can do this. It's not that it's mathematically inaccurate, it's just that it can be confusing. What my recommendation is if you have a multi-step problem like this, is figure each step out separately. So let's look at f at 2. Well, that is replacing x with 2. So 2 times 2 minus 3. So my first value is essentially 1. G at 2, that's 2 squared plus 2 times 2 minus 3, replacing all my x's with 2. That's going to be 4 plus 4 minus 3. So that answer is 5. So now what am I doing is my math on these two numbers. So I take my equation and I figure out my set. What am I doing? 4 times 1, because f at 2 was 1, so I'm multiplying 4 by that answer minus the g value, which turned into a value of 5. Now notice everything is just numeric, so I can get my final answer, which equals -1, because 4 minus 5 is -1, and that is my solution. And that is basically how you evaluate. Just remember that these numbers on the inside are saying change x into this number and evaluate. So this is saying that x, so this is saying that x equals 2, and that's what you replace all your x values with, and then evaluate.